Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode number 29 of the Reggie, Ruthie, and Rev show. We've got a great one for you today, number 29, and this is going to be a little scary. Let's turn the music down. Let's set the tone, because we're going to be talking about monsters today. And in order to set the tone to talk about monsters, let's get in the mood. Can we get some monster music, please? Can we? Yeah, that's it right there. Get you in that mood, get your toes tingling, see you're scared now.
Cut that mess off. That don't sound like scary music. That sounds like a New York City subway. Let's get to the show.
Or a low-flying airplane.
Okay. Let's get to the show. We're talking about monsters, every aspect of monsters. So let's start off. Ruthie, why don't you get us going and tell us, you think, you actually believe that monsters were sexy back in the day.
Monsters was fine.
Wait.
Ruthie full of crap.
Ruthie, you trying to tell me that monsters were sexy back in the day?
Yes, Reginald. Monsters was sexy back in the day. Today's monsters like Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees, they running around with chainsaws smelling like pee. But you see, Dracula was smooth. When he said, "I come to suck your blood," all the blood donors nationwide got horny.
But wait a minute, Ruthie. What about Frankenstein and the Mummy? Nobody could understand them.
And that added to their sexiness. Both of those monsters turned women on with that incoherent gurgling sound. That you man can learn something from Frankenstein. Go home to your wife and go, and I guarantee she'll give you something.
Reginald, you're going to have to cut her mic. She talking about go home and talk about you going to get something. I went home and did that, Ruthie, and it didn't work. I went raw and I didn't get nothing.
You didn't get nothing because you need to wash your nuts before you go to bed. That's what you need to do. Don't come here blaming it on the raw. Blame it on the wash your nuts.
You're going too far, Ruthie. You're going too far.
Ruthie, you're going too far.
We ain't going too far. Put some powder on your balls. Make them fresh.
Okay, Rev, let's move on to you. Do you remember Dracula back in the day, Rev?
Yes, I do. We had a kid in my neighborhood. He was a real monster. His name was Jacula.
Rev, you mean Dracula, right?
No, his name was Jacula because he didn't just suck your blood. He would jack up all your shit.
Please explain.
Let me tell you something, y'all laughing. But that little boy, Jacula Johnson, was a mess.
Jacula Johnson?
Let me tell you what he would do. Jacula would bite you, paralyze you, then go through your pockets stealing your lunch tickets, bus tickets, and all your Swanson TV dinner coupons. I ain't lying. Jacula was a mess.
So, Ruthie, let me get this right. You think monsters are soft today?
Yes, Reginald. Monsters were tougher back in the day. Monsters need weapons today. They need knives, hatchets, chainsaws. But you see, back in the day, Frankenstein would just choke you out. The Mummy would just choke you out. Dracula and the werewolf would just bite you. Now, I will admit, the werewolf was a little extra because he was known to bite a chunk out your ass. But if you didn't run away from him, he was rather friendly.
Now, Ruthie, I understand that you love the way monsters dressed back in the day.
Okay, let's go back and look at how monsters used to dress way back in the day. Dracula had a fly-ass velvet cape. Now that's smooth. The Invisible Man used to wear sunglasses and run around butt naked. Now that's smooth. And then the Mummy, he used to dress up in that one-piece medical wrap. Now that's smooth. Then you compare that to Freddy Krueger running around with that nasty sweater on, mustard stains all on the back, looking like a flea-bitten bum.
Rev, let's further the conversation. Let's take it to a high level. Rev, are there any monsters that never received their credit? Or I should say the unsung monsters. Who are they?
Dang, I know they done legalized weed in a lot of states, but y'all laughing a little too much for me. I think somebody's passing around the joy dust before the show starts. But anyway, let me tell you something here now. The monsters that did not get their credit, let me think about. Oh, I got one for you. I'd like to give a shout out to Candyman. That's right. He was a black monster that faced discrimination because he was black and disabled.
Now, I'm not familiar with Candyman. He doesn't sound too scary. Who is Candyman?
Ooh, Reginald, you don't know about Candyman? I figured they would have taught about Candyman in schools during civil rights era. But let me tell you something.
No.
If you said the name Candyman 5 times while looking in the mirror, he'd jump out and stab you with that hook in his arm.
Yes, sir.
But he never got his props, sadly, because of that black hook in his arm.
Oh.
It's kind of like Ruthie's uncle, Count Chocula. He never got credit with his black stuff.
You see, Reginald, this is why I have a problem with doing this show with this man.
But Ruthie, you throw shade
I
too.
don't mind
You
him
throw
coming
shade.
after me, but you don't come after my family
Okay, I'll
members.
take what. We're going to go off topic for 1 second. We're going to stop for the monsters. Is there something you want to say about the Rev's family?
Yes, I do. The Rev ain't never gonna tell you about his drunken Uncle Earl.
Leave his name out your mouth.
Oh, yeah. Now we gonna get to the stories. His Uncle Earl was in charge of the spinning fly kiddie ride at the local carnival. And this fool got half liquored up and forgot to lock the safety bar before he started the ride. And then he had the nerve to start flirting with some of the mothers there and forgot that his big fat ass was leaning against the super fast button. Them poor kids was flying off that ride like BB pellets in the night. It was a mess. Anyway, let's get back to the monsters.
Now, Rev, in your opinion, who is the greatest Hollywood monster villain of all time?
You know, Reginald, that's a very easy question to answer. I have to give it to Godzilla because, you know, Godzilla was a good father.
Was he?
And he never got credit for that. Well, you see, Godzilla showed up for Parents' Day representing his lizard-looking child. And one of the kids yelled out, "Hey, Mr. Lizard, make yourself useful and light the candles on my birthday cake." Godzilla, you know, he always had a little temper. He got a little upset. And he unleashed a ball of fiery gas from his mouth, burned up every wig, every braid, every lace front, and every kid left that room crying, looking like a blown-up firecracker with smoke coming out their ass. Now that's a role model, when you can light all those asses up with one breath.
He called them burnt firecrackers.
For more insight and laughter, please check out The Reggie, Ruthie, and Rev Show on YouTube, Spotify, or any podcast platform.